All systems go. Clear for takeoff.
What is going on, everybody? We're back talking some baseball. Joined by my man, Nades, as usual. Nades, baseball is still going, man. NFL, PGA's back this week. MMA is still going on, but MLB still plenty of money to be made. Prize pools are good. That was the first thing I checked in the morning. With no NFL, it's like, please give us some decent prize pools. That we have today. Coors Field on the slate. Pretty fun one. Hope everybody out there having a good one. How was your weekend, Nades? What's going on in your world?
Yeah, weekend was good. It's good to be back with the dude that just continues to print money. Free money Sundays. He wasn't lying, folks. I mean, if you're not in SHIPIT Nation's Discord or on the site, getting Mr. Title Crown himself plays. I don't know what you're doing because this guy continues to print money. I'm excited to work together alongside you all NFL season. Obviously, the MLB season's been great. We're going to continue that here tonight. Hopefully pick some winners for the people. Obviously, MMA, everyone knows you smashed that. And our favorite time of the year title is coming right around the corner, too. NFL rolls up, and then you got NBA shortly after there, which you want to talk about free money. NBA is free money if I've ever seen it. So great time of the year. Amazing stuff here. Congratulations again on the shipper last night. And you almost got the ultimate shipper on Sunday. That would have been nice to see a little 1-2 in that $9 slant contest, which is very, very good contest there on DraftKings. So, yeah, ready to keep the momentum rolling.
Yeah, I appreciate those words, Nate. Always keep grinding over here. Don't get too highs on the highs, too lows on the lows. Was a good week one. Looking to keep it rolling into MLB into week two. And yes, Kevin McNally, he goes, never seen title without a hat. Got to throw him a curveball every once in a while. MLB show right here. Expecting fastball, threw a little curve, throw you off beat there. So we got Bill B in here, SHIPIT Nation's in here, Colin T, Nadesify, Pair by, Reese's Collect, Joe's in here, we the people in here, our man Hamwich, Jimmy Jack, K-Ped, we the people, I already said him, he gets double, Colin T's in here. What is up, everybody? Playing MLB DFS in September, the true grinders out there. What else are we going to do? There's no NFL on tonight. What else are we betting on? Contender Series, I'll be watching, tuning into that a little bit, but MLB steals the show. 10 games today, Nades. Let's dive into it. First, as always, hit that like button for us. Hit that subscribe button. Helps us out a ton. If you do want to join us at SHIPIT Nation, head over. It's now $69 a month. NBA is going to be coming up. NHL is going to be coming up. NFL in full swing. Showdown. Every single day there's something going on to make some money. Yeah, right there. Free money in NHL. It's a big Nate. Nate, talk about NHL quick. What people will expect from the product before we talk MLB.
Yeah, so I'll be doing a pre-recorded, kind of like our quick hit videos right here on this channel for NHL twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what the slates look like. Right now, it probably shakes out to be Tuesdays, Thursdays for sure. Those are typically last season were the big NHL slates, but yeah, free money. I mean, NHL, if you guys like MLB, which obviously all you grinding MLB right now on September 12th, definitely like MLB, and NHL goes pretty hand in hand. It's definitely the closest sport by far. It's pretty rare that in DFS that you see two sports that you really build similarly lineups. Obviously, NHL, a lot of stacking, just like baseball. You stack lines, you stack power plays, things like that, like you stack offenses. And then your goalie can be viewed as a pitcher. Obviously, you only have to play one goalie in NHL. But we'll have core plays. I'll have videos. I have a matchup sheet that we go through it, and obviously have you covered in the Discord as well. And my dad, who actually got me into DFS many, many years ago, played college hockey, everything, got me started. And I started DFS career in the NHL streets. He's in the Discord. He'll be helping me out too, just in the chat, giving tips and tricks and stuff like that. So we definitely have you covered there.
Things you absolutely love to see. So NHL, NBA right around the corner, NFL, big money up tonight in the MLB streets, Nate. Let's tie in the people some winners. I appreciate that. Tog, appreciate that. Joe, we're keeping it rolling into MLB slate tonight. So first, let's go for pitching's interesting for sure. 10 games on the slate. If you see the White Sox and the Royals, that game is not going to be included. because of the doubleheader. A lot of weather yesterday. Looks like weather pretty fine today. All I'm seeing is some green and yellows on Ross sheet. So I'm going to assume everything plays without a delay, though. But again, monitor that up until lock. I think the chalk pairing, at least up top, Justin Verlander, I think is the highest owned. Him and probably Brian Wu, 7.9K Wu. We'll talk about him in a little bit. But Verlander gets the nut matchup against Oakland. If you want to overspend a little bit, Freddie Peralta, 11.8. Max Scherzer, 11.3. You do get some ownership discount there, I expect. Joe Ryan, I also think gets a good amount of ownership. Probably comes in number 3 behind Verlander and Wu in terms of ownership. 9.5K, solid K prop, 7.5. Some juice on the under, but that is the highest K prop on the slate. We'll go all the way. We'll go 8K and above and then 8K and below. So Lance Lynn's down there too, coming back down to earth after a couple good starts when he first got to the Dodgers. Then Edward Cabrera against Milwaukee at 8.1K. So talk about 8K and above. What are you doing with Verlander? What are you doing with these other guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think the slate revolves around 4 pitchers up at the top. You see them all there, right? Joe Ryan, Verlander, Scherzer, Freddie Peralta. My 2 favorites are Freddie Peralta, number 1 for sure. I'm going to spend up for that upside. I'm not afraid of this Miami lineup. They actually strike out more. They've struck out more as of late. 10th best strikeout matchup on the board. We know how Freddie is at home. 11.8 is an expensive price tag to play. But the Brewers bats got to Lizard King a little bit last night. I think they might get to Cabrera a little bit here as well. Kind of hitting, not a scary offense by any means, but they manufacture runs. They play better at home. I think he has some run support behind him, and I'm seeing him sub 15%. And we know what Freddie Peralta's ceiling can be with that big arm of his. Obviously, heavily fastball pitcher there, but I think he can get enough swing and misses in this lineup. He ranks very good in our rankings over here, and I'm going to spend all the way up for him. I do like Freddie Peralta quite a bit here. Joe Ryan I like as well. Pretty good pitching weather there in that game there at home versus Tampa. Pretty cold. I mean, I walked outside this morning. I mean, it's 56 degrees here right now in Wisconsin. September 12th. Title's laughing over there, sitting in his sauna down there.
That's why I moved.
110 degree weather down there in Arizona, and this guy still goes in the sauna every day. What a life Title lives. But yeah, Joe Ryan. I do like Joe Ryan, number 2. I'm going to be under on Verlander here. Just looking at the matchup, he doesn't rank very good in our metrics over here, and that's because, I mean, this Oakland lineup is not very strikeout prone versus right-handers, at least in the home run splits right now here. So they've been better on the road in terms of strikeouts. So Verlander, I mean, he's going to come in 30 to 35% owned, I think. I'm just going to take my chances that he just doesn't do enough. Personally, that's what I'm going to see. I also don't think Houston's going to run him into the ground against Oakland, right? It's September baseball. Houston's definitely making the postseason here. You got to start factoring that stuff in as we get closer here to October baseball, right? Some of these teams are going to hang these pitchers up earlier, right? They don't, I mean, you think Verlander needs to go out there and throw eight innings against the Oakland Athletics with that offense behind him? I don't personally think so. They need him. Obviously, he's going to be a pivotal piece in that postseason. So I'm under on Justin Verlander and Scherzer. If I'm getting up to Scherzer, I'd just rather spend up to Freddie Peralta for the extra $500 and attack a Miami offense versus a Toronto offense that just does not strike out very much against right-handed pitching there. So pretty much Freddie Peralta and Joe Ryan for me. One note, I do want to bring up Rue against Texas. Very, very risky play, but I'm a firm believer in our tools over here at SHIPITNation.com, and Rue does rank very good. He's going to be unowned, virtually unowned. Nobody's going to play him. So he would be my 3rd in this range. I'm out on Lance Lynn, out on Cabrera, not going to play Waka. And then, like I said, I'm under on Scherzer and Verlander for sure.
Yeah, we're very similar in this one for sure. We appreciate that, Conscientious, stopping by, giving us support. We appreciate those words. But I see it the same. Scherzer, I don't love as much as Freddie Peralta. Freddie and Joe Ryan are definitely my favorites. People are going to go Verlander. I mean, I get it, but it's still not like he doesn't have that 10K upside anymore. The strikeouts, he's more of like a floor play, and at 10.7K on such a big slate like this, I think I'd rather chase the lower ownership, even the higher price tag with Freddie against Miami. Scherzer, I guess he's okay because he'll be lower owned than Verlander. I guess I'll prefer him in tournaments. 6.5K prop, pretty much even money. Him and Verlander do have a pitcher's ump behind the dish, which is nice. Freddie has a neutral ump, but Freddie won for me in that. I guess I would have Scherzer above Verlander, but like Joe Ryan a lot. You get a big $1,200 savings off of Verlander, and he's in his own range. So I do think he probably comes in third highest owned, but that's fine chalk. I'm willing to eat. And then Lance Lynn, if I had to pick one, mine would be Lance Lynn at 8.4K. Is it fun to roster? No, I think you can definitely play the Padres as well, but pitchers up behind the dish for him as well. 5.5K prop solid, and he's one of my favorite pivots in that range. We'll talk about Brian Wu in a sec, who's going to be the chalk SP2. In that range, like there's a guy we'll talk about in the low 7K range, I think is a fine pivot, but Lynn would be my guy. Yours is where you right there at 8.6. Mine is Lynn against the Padres. Hope he gets some Ks, but definitely the power is a concern for him. But 8.4K, you could do worse. Definitely, it's Ryan 1, Peralta 2, Lynn 3. Don't really like much in that upper tier. So let's go and talk 8K and below. We keep talking about Brian Wu, 7.9K against the Angels. Going to be the chalk SP2. Patrick Sandoval and Carlos Rodon were the two I was talking about. I'll throw Zach Little in that boat as well, or Littell, I think Jake told me it was, at 6.7K against the Twins. Those are my three favorite pivots in the bottom range. Cutter Crawford, Sean Manaea, I think is fine as well if you want to go all the way down. 5.7 for Crawford, 5.7 for Sean Manaea. And Manaea is finally going to be starting the game, actually. They're not going to do the real opener, and then Manaea comes in. At least we hope he comes in the second or third inning. He will start the game, so you can feel comfortable about that. So I guess that's five guys: Sandoval, Rodon, Littell, Manaea, Crawford. Do I love any of them? Not really. It's just pivots off of Wu, and if you want to spend up at bats. But I think a Joe Ryan, Peralta, just paying up top is kind of my preferred route and getting some cheap bats. So that was a bit long answer. Break down this range for you.
Yeah, I'm going to come out and say I'm fading Brian Wu here. Looking at the last month, I mean, this guy's got a 12.7% strikeout rate, and he's going to be 40% owned on a 10-game slate in September baseball, right? This is the time of the year title. People get lazy, right? There's a lot of consensus. There's a lot of groupthink that goes on, right? Everyone's waiting for Thursday night football, right? You just saw it Monday night. Obviously, our guy Aaron Rodgers there. Tough to see him. I'm always a Rodgers guy. Poor dude. I just hope it's not a career ender there for his Hall of Fame career there with that Achilles. But man, he's definitely older, and it's not easy to come back. So wish him the best. Didn't want to derail the MLB show too much here, but I know we're both Wisconsin guys, both big Rodgers fans there. But I'm going to take the fade approach on Brian Wu. The strikeout rate just over the last month has not been there, and that's the guy that everyone's going to go to. It's going to be a lot of Justin Verlander, Brian Wu combinations. I'm sure in cash, that's where the combination is going. I haven't even looked at the cash stuff, but have to assume that's the cash pairing for sure. So in tournaments, when everyone's kind of getting lazy in the MLB streets here with NFL happening, I'm going to take the approach and just be off of him. I do like Patrick Sandoval right there in that range as a pivot. In that same game, on the other aspect, I always love going to the other side of the chalk pitcher, right? Why can't it be Patrick Sandoval here against the Mariners team that strikes out at 30+% rate against left-handed pitching at home here? So 7,500, you get a little discount. Get a fraction of the ownership. I mean, you're talking a fraction of the ownership. So I like him. Carlos Rodon, I can't do it, man. I just not been a Rodon guy. I'm not going to do it when he's pitching in Fenway Park here. Can't do that. So I'm out on him. Zach Littell popping a little bit. He's in that same game there in Minnesota, right, with Joe Ryan. I think it plays more of a pitcher's duel there. Obviously, Minnesota does strike out a ton. They do have power, right? Our guy Matt Wallner, big sticks Wallner there, always can get into one. But the thing that they do is it's a lot of boom bust lineups. It's either a strikeout pretty much or they're hitting a double, hitting a home run. So I think at 6,700, he's fine as a punt option. Jose Butto is popping some. I'm not going to attack Arizona in a win game here in New York. One of the best hitting weathers on the slate from what I'm seeing in the 70s, wind blowing slightly out there. So I'm out on him. It's really two guys mainly down here for me. Patrick Sandoval, Cutter Crawford, I think is fine as a punt option. The Yankees do strike out a lot. And Cutter Crawford at just 5,700, kind of the same case I made yesterday. I mean, there's multiple bats on the slate that are priced higher than them. And the probability of those bats that people play at a pretty high ownership, their probability to get zero is much higher than Cutter Crawford to go out there and get zero. So if he can get you 10 to 12, 13, right around what his projection is at 5,700, and it allows you to spend up at bats, I think that's fine. But definitely Patrick Sandoval, my favorite, with the direct pivot right off of Brian Wu, same game. Zach Littell, and then Cutter Crawford down here. Really no other interest.
Yeah, we're in lockstep or agreement in a lot of things. Like Joe says, can you fade Wu in single entry? And absolutely. Sounds like you will be taking that approach. You mainly single entry, 3-entry stuff. I've been messing in the 150 streets and the $3. So of course I'll have some. Not sure what I'll do in the single entry 121, but how I'm ranking this range is I'll trust our pitcher ranking. Sandoval grades out really well. You look at it, 6.5 K prop. He has not been good this year. Much, much better last year. A lot more hype coming into the year than now for Sandoval, but 6.5 K props pretty solid, even with juice on the under. Not a great hitter zone, but he's going to be a third of the ownership is Wu, probably something like that for 400 cheaper. So grades out well in our rankings. I'll put him 1 in this range down below. I think I'd probably just go Cutter Crawford 2 all the way down at 5.7 K. Could spend up at plenty of bats. You can go Freddie, you can go Joe Ryan, something like that. Give me 13 to 15, something like that from Crawford. So you got to avoid some of those big bats up top for the Yankees. But what? The doubleheader going on in that one today. So, yeah, I'll say Crawford 2. Probably not even going to give a third, though, because we'll rank pitching right now. Mine's Joe Ryan 1, Freddie 2. I'm going to say Sandoval 3, Cutter Crawford 4 is how I'm going to rank this slate. What about you, Nades?
Yeah, I'm going back to the fish fry. Well, me and Hamwich got on here yesterday. I had a nice little fish fry, fried up some nice marlins, courtesy of Brandon Woodruff there. So I'm going right back to the well. Freddie Peralta, Brandon Woodruff obviously posted a big boy number yesterday, 39 DraftKings points. I think Freddie gets us upper 20s at least, maybe 30 here. At least that's what I'm hoping. He's going to be under-owned. Love Freddie Peralta all the way up at the top. Joe Ryan's going to be number 2. I will do Patrick Sandoval 3 for me as that direct pivot right there off of Brian Wu, because I will have 0 exposure to Brian Wu on the slate.
I like it. There we go. Verlander and Wu chalk. We don't love as much. You prefer Verlander chalk than Wu if you had to pick. I think I would say Wu just because of the.
I'd probably prefer. Yeah, I'd prefer Wu,
Wu,
but I'm fading both of them. It's just Verlander, man. I'm not playing Verlander at all. The guy's got a 21% strikeout rate on the season against the team that doesn't strike out a lot on the road. And he's going to be one of the chalkiest pitchers on the slate at 10-7. That's an easy fade for me, and just hope that he goes out there and gets his floor of 15 to 18 points and doesn't kill you, but doesn't become a must play.
Yeah, no, so you are on the same page. Yeah, I'd probably play, if I picked one of Verlander or Wu, probably would be Wu, just because other pivots in the upper tier more, and you don't need as much from him. Like 12, if Wu gets 12, he could still be on the winner, and you're not surprised. Whereas Verlander, a lot harder to be on the winner at 12. So that's that. We'll keep it rolling. We'll go game by game, as always. Break down our favorite bats on the slate. Talking fish fries. That is one thing I miss, I will say. Fish fries on Fridays in Milwaukee, that Wisconsin, tough to beat those. But 10 games, appreciate that like, appreciate that subscribe button. If you're not a member at SHIPIT Nation, do not know what you are doing. Plenty of new members join. A lot of great feedback we have heard from people. Get in the Discord too if you do join. Projections, we got them. Ownership, we got them. Core plays, we got them. Cash, we got it. Great, very knowledgeable members in Discord. People talking NFL betting. So our partner Andy Block that we have 4-0 in the NFL streets in the betting tab in Discord. So great stuff. We got tennis in there, college football, members dropping knowledgeable info, people winning money in that. Just a great community we have at SHIPIT Nation. So head over, join us. Think you will like it a lot. 10 games, Nades. First game of the night. Definitely going to be low owned. Texas Rangers, Toronto Blue Jays, Max Scherzer, your man Hyun Jin Ryu. We got 8.5 total. I don't know. Texas maybe gets – no, Texas is not going to get played. The Blue Jays aren't going to get played. One of the lower-owned games on the slate. If I had to pick a side, it probably would be Texas because their lineup's better, guaranteed ninth in the at-bat. Ryu, did see blew up his first start back here against the Orioles in the MLB. Maybe the Rangers get to him, jump on him early. I trust Scherzer more than him, so – I guess Rangers are fine at low ownership, but there's definitely other spots I like more on the slate. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, this game's a complete fade for bats. Not the greatest weather there in Toronto. I see some slight wind blowing in. Both pitchers, I think, are fine. Obviously, I didn't like Scherzer at the price point up there, but the guy still has a 29% strikeout rate, so not going to play any of these Blue Jays. And then Rue, I like as a pivot there at 8,600, ranks well in our metrics here. And Baltimore offense is no slouch by any means, too. So first game back, got a tough matchup there. I think he regroups a little bit here, and I think we see pitchers go back and forth.
I like it. Let's keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Heading to Fenway, Yankees, Red Sox, Carlos Rodon, Cutter Crawford. This is, again, the second game of a doubleheader today for these two. 70 degrees, 9.5 total. I think this game's interesting on both sides. You talked about not liking Rodon. Has definitely had his struggles this year, been up and down. This Red Sox lineup, pretty cheap. At least it should be. I don't see the lineup out yet. And as far as the other side, Cutter Crawford, big arm. I had some interest on him, mainly because of the price tag. But he also, man, 4 last time out, -8 the time before. He can be hit around as well. So interesting game stack if you want to go that way. I like the Red Sox side much more than the Yankee side personally. I will be playing some Crawford. What do you see in this one?
Yeah, I love these Red Sox. Looking at last 30-day numbers, I mean, you want to talk about blood in the water for these Sharks, and that's what Rodon's numbers look like. I mean, 243 ISO, ground ball rate of 16.9%, which is horrible. I mean, Title, I think you can go out there and get more ground balls than 17%. Tons of fly balls, tons of power, and strikeout rate of sub 20%. So sign me up for some of these Red Sox. This Rafaela guy, batting leadoff here, I think he makes some sense. He's got a good sample against lefties, hits lefties pretty well. Rafael Devers, I think, is going to be contrarian lefty here, and he actually hits left-handed pitching very well. So I love him. Justin Turner, Duvall, and then Tristan Casas, I always love him down there too. Probably going to hit towards the back of that lineup, lefty, but he's fine. He's been smashing the baseball. I think 1 through 9 are firmly in play. Don't forget about Connor Wong. Definitely has some power. So Red Sox, one of my favorite stacks of the night. And I think because this is the second game of the doubleheader here, I think it goes a little bit overlooked, right? There's a lot of lineups already in. People can already build teams. Obviously, we'll get this lineup before lock, but I do love the Red Sox here. I've stacked against Rodon every start this year that he's made. He just does not have it. So love him. And then the Yankee side, going to be a pass for me. Obviously, you can always play Aaron Judge, but I think Cutter Crawford can do enough. I mean, he is a strikeout pitcher. The Yankees do strike out at a 26.5% strikeout rate against right-handed pitching on the road. So I do like Cutter Crawford as a punt. No Yankees for me.
I like it. We're lockstep in that one as well. I mean, you can always, of course, play a Judge, a Stanton, something like that. But I prefer the Red Sox side as well. I think a 5-man is definitely in play for them too, whereas the Rangers probably would be more of a mini stack for me. Another game I like right here, though, Arizona Diamondbacks, New York Mets, 9.5 total, Ryan Nelson, Jose Butto on the mound. I think both sides are in play. Wind blowing out slightly. It's okay hitting weather. It's going to get worse and worse. You're not seeing all these games of the 90s like we have a couple of weeks back, just 70 degrees, 60 degrees here. So 75 wind blowing out. It's fine. I mean, Ryan Nelson doesn't miss many bats. Both sides of the plate you can attack him from. So I think 1 through 9 is in play for the Mets. Plenty of cheap bats. Only Pete Alonso, only one above 5K in that one, 5.1K. You go to the D-back side, outside of Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, these guys are absolutely free too against this Jose Butto guy. I mean, he doesn't miss too many bats as well. I think balls will be in play in this one. Very cheap on both sides. Sign me up for this game stack for sure. This is you can go a Freddie, Joe Ryan, even a Freddie and Max Scherzer and game stack this one up. So yeah, I like this one a lot. One of my favorites on the slate. What about you?
Man, Title, you're just too sharp. It feels good to be lockstep with one of the hottest players right now in the industry. And I love this game. Mets are my favorite stack. I love the home team here in the Mets against Nelson. Like you said, this guy just does not miss bats. Gets barreled at a heavy clip, low strikeouts, gets hit for a ton of power, ton of fly balls. And these Mets, man, they're cheap. They got a lot of power. My boy DJ Stewart, one of my favorite plays on the entire slate there at 3,100 in the 5 spot. I don't think he gets a ton of ownership here. The Mets are going to get played, but the D-backs are going to get played more than the Mets here because they do have that guaranteed ninth inning at bat. I love the Mets in this one. They're still going to get ownership. I just don't care. If you're not playing Verlander and you're not playing Brian Wu, like I'm not, I really don't care about the ownership. That's why I do like the Cubs as well here in Coors Field, because I'm not playing the two chalkiest pitchers. So very, very easy ways to get different. I love 1 through 9 here. Don't sleep on Mauricio, second base shortstop guy. There in the 6th spot. Mark Vientos, always bring him up 1 through 9. I love the Mets. And then on the D-back side, I think that you can firmly game stack this up. Weather across the country is dropping. Typically, you don't like game stacks too much on a full slate, but pick some spots where there is good weather. Obviously, you got Coors Field where people will probably stack that one up. But I think this is my favorite game here outside of over Coors Field. I do like the Cubs, but yeah, both sides firmly in play. Prefer the Mets.
Let's go. Love it. Absolutely love it. Before we keep it rolling, I just noticed we are at 2.99K subscribers on the YouTube channel. So on Thursday, if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button if you want to get notified when we go live. Thursday, we'll be doing a giveaway for 3,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. I think Tambo said we'll be doing that because we're on the Mayo Media Network, Talking Showdown on Thursdays. I think he said he'll be giving it out then for this channel, but there will be a giveaway for 3K subscribers once we hit it, which is going to be any day now, today, tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that. And again, that like button helps us out a ton. If you want to join us at chipandnation.com, head over, get in the Discord. $69 a month, $599 a year, which takes you to $49 a month, the best deal. We have NFL, NHL, NBA, MMA, PGA, best ball, you name it, we got it. Let's keep it rolling, Nades. Next game, no interest for me in this one. Tampa Bay Rays, Minnesota Twins. Zach Littell, Joe Ryan, 60 degrees in Minnesota, 8 total. I like Joe Ryan. I don't think Zach Littell is the craziest play by any means either. Easy fade. If it beats me, I will probably be losing money today. What about you?
Yeah, I'm in lockstep. If I had to pick a side, it would be some of these power bats from the Twins. I mean, Matt Wallner, above a 300 expected ISO against right-handed pitching at home, hitting down there in the 7th spot. I think he's fine, but yeah, not going to play a 60-degree temperature. I mean, you go and try and hit a baseball in 60-degree weather when it's 80, 90 degrees all summer long. You're used to. You get sawed off a little bit, your hands are going to sting. So yeah, no interest. I think both pitchers are fine. If I had to pick, I'd pick some power bats from the Twins against Littell here, who doesn't strike anyone out and does get hit pretty hard.
I like it. And man, extra sauce. He goes, I'll get you 7 more sauce when I get home tonight. I don't know how many kids, how many devices, all of that. But hey, we don't need to know that extra sauce. That's things we love to see right there. So we appreciate that one for sure. Big extra sauce. I always extra sauce, extra Chick-fil-A sauce, extra ranch, extra you name it, extra subs. Appreciate that one, big man. We'll keep it rolling. Next game on the slate. Thought the last one wasn't interesting. This one, not very interesting to me. Miami Marlins, Milwaukee Brewers. Edward Cabrera, the potential long reliever. Freddie Peralta on the bump for the Brewers. We like Freddie. No Marlins for me. Edward Cabrera, I mean, I don't think he's the craziest play at very low ownership as a pitcher. I don't love the potential long reliever. We didn't mention him, but I mean, last time out, 8 Ks in 4 innings. He has a big arm. 8.1K is expensive, but I'd rather play Cabrera than I would the Brewers or the Marlins. So no bats for me in this one for sure, though.
Yeah, no bats. I think this is a fish fry here. Sal Frelick batting leadoff. The kid's a complete stud, but I do like him against he hasn't been as great at home here. But the Brewers, I think Edward Cabrera is fine. It's just, man, I hate this potential long reliever stuff, and he is 8,100 against a team in the Brewers who just have not been striking out versus right-handed pitching. I played Luzardo yesterday. It didn't go well. I definitely was hurtful there. So not going to do it with a guy that might not even get in the game. Obviously, he's likely to, but we've seen this case before this season. So out on the bats in this one, I think this is a pitcher's duel. Freddie's my favorite pitcher on the slate.
I like it. We'll keep it rolling. And so they are not including the Royals and the White Sox on DraftKings. So Oakland A's, Houston Astros, JP Sears, Justin Verlander on the mound, 8.5 total. Pretty much 6 of those runs almost are accounted for the Astro side. They are going to get some ownership, no doubt. The Cubs, the chalk on the slate and Coors, but Astros shortly behind them. I wouldn't worry about ownership either, Nate. Like, you don't like Verlander, really. You don't like Woo. If you like the Astros, play them. I guess I'll just start there. Do you like the Astros? I assume no. A's for you, but get a little leverage. You don't like Verlander. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'll start with the Houston side. I mean, they've been one of the best teams in the league over the last 2-3 weeks here. JP Sears does struggle with power righties, 20% strikeout rate. ISO numbers are up there, low ground balls, a lot of fly balls. So give me some of these power righties, Bregman, Altuve, Jeremy Pena is fine. Abreu, Chas McCormick. I love McCormick down there in the 7th spot. Dubon, cheap guy down there, second base. Maldonado has been fine too. So I do like the Astros. I like the Mets more. I like the Cubs more. I like the D-backs more, I think. But the Astros are right there too. I do think I'm going to be underweight, though, on the Astros. I do think they come in with some more ownership than what's projected right now. The more people build teams. But don't think it's the craziest play. And then actually these Athletics, man, against Verlander, I don't think are the craziest. I'm not going to 5-man stack them, but Lawrence Butler, ton of power, low strikeouts. He's 2K flat. There's another value guy. Tyler Soderstrom, you can play him at catcher. He's got 30 at-bats on the season against right-handed pitching on the road, 364 expected ISO. So you got very, very cheap guys with power. Ryan Noda, Seth Brown, Langeliers, Lawrence Butler, Diaz. I mean, my favorite would probably be Lawrence Butler and Soderstrom with Jordan Diaz. I mean, you get all of those guys for basically the price of Ronald Acuna when he's on the slate. And you get 3 guys that all have a lot of power, don't strike out a lot against the chalkiest pitcher on the slate. So don't hate that, but yeah, not a ton of interest overall in this one.
Interesting stat by Scary Creations. The run differential, Astros on the road or at home, plus 12 at home, plus 100 or something on the road. Very interesting there. I think the Astros are fine too. Like I definitely like the Cubs more. The reason I love the Astros are really interesting is just if they get to JP Sears early, man, they have such a bad bullpen for so many innings. A good lineup they can turn over. There is cheap pieces in this lineup too at the bottom of the order. Like you can still play a Freddie Peralta, you can still play a Joe Ryan. 5-man stack these Astros. I definitely like them. I mean, the Cubs, we're about to talk about them. If we're fading Woo, you're fading Verlander, it feels like it's easier to play the Cubs, and in a vacuum, I definitely like them more. But the Astros still probably are going to be a third of the ownership or something like that when it comes to it. So I think they're fine. I like the Cubs more in a vacuum. Astros still one of my favorite stacks on the slate, though. One of the highest team totals, but if they get to that A's bullpen, it's very easy. So yeah, I like the Stros, not as much as these Cubs though. Rocky side, I don't know, Nate. Javier said taking on Chris Flexen, 12.5 total, 70 degrees in Coors Field. Cubs implied for over 7 runs. Rockies like 5.3 though, and as usual, the road team, usually the higher team total in Coors Field, has 3 times the ownership as the Rockies do. I think that's kind of the same on this slate. I think these Rockies are interesting for sure against the set. Prefer the lefties, don't mind righties, but Nolan Jones right in the 3-hole, my favorite bat right there. McMahon in the 5-hole, don't mind him as well. Cubs, yeah, I mean, you can play them 1 through 9, but they're going to be chalky. How do you get different a little bit? Who are your favorite bats? Break down this one.
Yeah, I'll start with the Rocky side, the lower owned side, only the lefties. I only have interest in Blackman, Nolan Jones, McMahon there. Assad has a 63% ground ball rate over the last month to the righties. So I want the ball in the air in Coors Field, and it's those 3 lefties. He's much worse, gets hit for more power, less ground balls, and less strikeouts to the lefties. So those 3 lefties, nice little mini stack there. You get a 1-3-5. Nice little correlation there. Skip the 2 righties in there. Hope for some run support. And then, yeah, I love the Cubs here. I'm taking the stand where I'm under on the chalkier pitchers. So I'm okay eating the Cubs. And we're not seeing the Cubs like 20 to 25% stack ownership like we've seen some teams in Coors Field, right? They're going to get ownership, but I mean, these price tags for a Cubs offense are expensive, right? If they were anywhere else, nobody would really be playing Nico Horner at 6,100. Bellinger at almost 7K, right? Dansby Swanson at 5,500. They're expensive. You do have to pay for them. Sia Suzuki's probably my favorite bat. Then Ian Happ I like. Obviously, Cody Bellinger has been one of the best hitters in baseball this season. So, yeah, 1 through 9 are firmly in play for me and the Cubs. And I'm under on the chalkier pitchers, so I'm okay playing the Cubs offense here tonight in Coors Field.
Yeah, no, I agree. Sometimes this year I definitely have faded Coors Chalk more than I've played it. Some spots I do jump on. I will definitely have the Cubs, though. Guaranteed 9th inning at bats. I do like it a lot. We'll keep it rolling. A couple more games on the slate. Izzy talking about one. Still a couple games until we'll talk about little Lance Lynn. But Los Angeles Angels, Seattle Mariners, Patrick Sandoval, Brian Wu on the mound. 8 total in Seattle. Both pitchers going to get some ownership. Wu the chalk SP2. Sandoval kind of the pivot SP2 in this one. I don't really like this game. I mean, this Angels lineup without Ohtani, no Trout in it. It just looks so gross. It's so hard to click some of these names. And the pricing, yeah, they are cheap, but so is the D-backs and Mets game that we like. So is some of the bottom of the order on the Rockies. Like, there's plenty of cheap bats on this slate. I'm not getting to this one. Mariners 4.17 total, going to be like 3% owned. Don't think that's crazy. Any interest there? I guess I'll start. And anything else in this one?
Yeah, no Angels for me here. Just don't see the need. I just hope Brian Wu just goes out there, doesn't strike out a lot of guys, game manages, gets through 6 innings, posts like 12 to 15 DraftKings points, hopefully. And at his ownership, just hope other guys can outscore him. Sandoval on the one side. But I do have interest in 3 bats in particular on the Mariners. Dylan Moore, my favorite bat, extreme fly ball guy. Doesn't hit for ground balls. He's definitely fly balls. You want fly balls against a ground ball pitcher here in Sandoval. I always have a sweet spot for Mr. Dylan Moore. I like him, Eugenio Suarez, and then Teo Hernandez. Those are the only 3 bats I would even think about playing from Seattle. I think you can play all 3 of them. Little mini stack there if you're interested, but more one-offs. Dylan Moore definitely is my favorite at his price point.
Fair enough. Maybe I'll bump a little Dylan Moore in my little Dylan Moore exposure for the Nate's call. But yeah, tough to get to that game. Will be very low owned. Don't mind a Julio Rodriguez, Teoscar, more one-offs, mini stacks in that one is how I see it. 2 games left, Nades. Heading to San Fran, 65 degrees. Cleveland Guardians, Giants, Cal Quantrill, Sean Manaea on the mound. 8.5 total. Giants, this is kind of like the same game as we just talked about with the Angels Mariners. Similar total. The Giants, pretty much the same team total as the Mariners, a little higher. Guardians will be very low owned, low team total. I'm not getting to any of these Guardians, but the Giants, they're interesting. I mean, who knows when that lineup's going to come out. Any righty in that lineup, if it's Wilmer in there, Estrada, or should be safe against Quantrill. The lefty is always more scary, but Cal Quantrill is not very good. Doesn't miss bats. Balls will be in play. I think you could do crazier than the Giants. I still like the D-backs game more. D-backs Mets game more. Obviously still like the Cubs more. Definitely like the Rockies more. So are they top 4 stack? No, but if you're playing 150 like I am, they're going to be probably like my top 6 own stack is my guess. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
I'm with they you. Are boss, bro. Today it finally is starting. There's no long relievers, so that's nice.
Yeah, I do like these Giants a little bit here. I mean, Quantrill is just not any good in my opinion. I think his strikeout rate over the last month to lefties is a little fluky. So don't love the lefties a ton, but Yastrzemski, if he's batting leadoff here, has smashed righties over the last month as well. 417 ISO, strikeout rate under 15%. The top 5 bats all strike out under 15%, right around 15%. Against right-handed pitching here. So Yastrzemski, Estrada, Flores, Jock Peterson, and Lamonte Wade. Like all of those guys, Mitch Haniger, obviously a ton of power, but he's really boom or bust. So top 6 are my main guys that I have interest in if those guys do hit where they're projected to hit. And then really no interest in the other side of this game. No interest really in the back half of this lineup, like Sable, JD Davis, Crawford. Just those top 6 guys I think are definitely in play. There is pinch hit concern, obviously, as well. But looking at the nature of the slate title, there's not a lot of spots, right, with good hit weather. So I'm just going to bet against a bad pitcher here in Quantrill. I
like it. I love it, Nades. We got 1 game left on the slate. Definitely one we have to talk about when it comes to bats. Some ownership in this one. It's not going to be chalk by any means, but it's going to be higher owned than the couple games we've talked about. San Diego Padres, Los Angeles Dodgers, Michael Wacha, Lance Lynn on the mound. 75 degrees, wind blowing out a little bit. 9 total. I'll let you start, but man, Lance Lynn can give up power. Michael Wacha going against one of the best offenses in baseball. In the Dodgers, decent hitting weather on a slate like this. It's not my first favorite game stack because of that D-backs Mets game, but if I had to pick another one, we're not picking Coors Field. That's too obvious. The Dodgers would be third. If Coors Field was involved, it'd be Coors Field, D-backs Mets, and then this one. But I think both sides you can make a case for sure. probably prefer the Padres side because of the ownership. Ownership and pricing. Like if I'm going to play the Padres, you do want Machados, the Tatis of the world, but they have more cheap bats in the order, and the pinch hit risk is always a little concerning when you get to the bottom of the Dodgers lineup. But I still like both sides. What about you?
Yeah, I prefer the Padres side here. Looking at the last month, Lance Lynn, 5.8% strikeout rate, ISO of 277, fly ball rate of 30%. So doesn't strike anyone out, gets hit for a lot of power against an offense that has Machado, Juan Soto, Fernando Tatis, Bogarts, Jerks, and Profar has been okay. Trent Grisham, I always love him down there. He's probably going to hit ninth. Ha-Dong Kim, batting leadoff probably. So I do like these Padres here. I think they go under owned compared to the Dodgers side, have the guaranteed ninth inning at bats. And I think definitely over the last month, Lance Lynn has been way worse than Michael Wacha. So give me some of these Padres as the late night hammer here. Then on the Dodgers side, I mean, one of the best offenses in baseball, Michael Wacha here is not bulletproof by any means. Mookie Betts, love him. Freddie Freeman, obviously, you can always play him. Max Muncy, the guy's locked in at the plate, hitting beach balls up there. So I love him. Probably going to hit cleanup here. And then James Outman. I've been playing James Outman quite a bit as of late. He's seen the baseball really good. He is striking out a little bit more against right-handed pitching than I'd like to see, but there's a lot of power that comes with that 306 ISO over the last month against righty. So I like both sides, prefer the Padres side, but nice little late night hammer here for offense.
Yeah, no, I like it. You and I were lockstep in a lot of things on this slate. People are talking games missing on the Boston Yankees games missing on FanDuel. Yeah, so FanDuel is a 9-game slate. DK is a 10-game slate. Neither slate is including the White Sox Royals game. DK is including the Yankees Red Sox game. FanDuel is not. So yeah, that's why you're not seeing that game on FanDuel. And people talking about the Red Sox lineups a week. No Rafael Devers in that Red Sox lineup. So that does bump them down. I guess going right into our favorite stacks of the night, Nades. I'm not going to let you say the Cubs because I think we're both lockstep there. So top 3 stacks besides the Cubs, I'm going to the game stack for the Diamondbacks and the Mets. And then I will say, I'm going to just say Padres, Dodgers. So I guess I'll just give 2 game stacks right there. And you can say your top 4. But yeah, I'll go with those 2 game stacks. What about you?
Yeah, I'll go Mets number 1 for me. I'll throw the Astros in there number 2. Padres are probably 3, and then the D-backs would be 4 for me. Dodgers would be 5th is how I'm kind of approaching this.
I like it. Let's go low-ish owned pitcher. Get you the dong of the day. Get on out of here. 10 games, about 45, 50 minutes. Talking some ball. Awesome stuff as always, Nays. And yes, it is NFL season. That is where all the attention is. We still have MLB shows 5 days a week on this channel for you. Nays, Hamwitz, G. Risen, giving you winners. Rio and I, Hebrew Cheetah that is, and myself mixing in as well throughout the week. Still prize pool solid, playoff baseball coming up. NBA will be here before you know it. So many sports, so much money to be made. Head over to SHIPITNation.com. We can help you try and do that. And also join a great community, something that it's a great spot. We've been in multiple other places. It's not always like this where the toxicity, it can be hard to manage a Discord and have members and stuff that don't want to tilt their face off. And always, it's not fun losing money. Ups, downs, don't get too highs on the high, too lows on the lows. Our Discord seems to understand that, so it is really cool to see. But let's go low-ish on pitcher Nades. I'm going to go all the way down to Cutter Crawford. And again, that's mainly because like Freddie Peralta too high for me, Joe Ryan too high. There's only so many guys I thought I could say in this, but I don't mind flipping the build, punting SP2 where most people go to the Brian Wu route and don't go all the way down. So I'll say Crawford. What about you?
Yeah, I'm going to trust our rankings here. I'm going to go up against a tough offense in Texas. I'm going to go Hee-Jin Ryu there for Toronto, 8,600. Nice little pivot right there off of the chalky pitcher there in that range. So love Ryu.
Here we go. Dong of the daytime, Nades. I'm going to go first. Going to the Mets. Going to the top of the order. Brandon Nimmo going deep today. Nays, you were shaking. I don't know if I said the Mets, so I know you're going to the Mets. Now I'm thinking I didn't steal your play, though. Tell me if I did steal your play or not, but I think you're going to the Mets. Who's your dong of the day?
You didn't. You didn't steal my play. And the last time I gave this guy out here, he hit the double dong. He's hitting at least one again here tonight. 3,100, Mr. DJ Stewart in the 5 spot. Going to take Nelson deep here in New York.
I love it. Awesome stuff, as always, Nate. Pitching slate, Verlander, Rue, chalk. Plenty of pivots, though. Coors Field, Cubs, chalk. Plenty of pivots is there as well. Big prize pools with no NFL going on. It's a great slate, great MLB slate. All of our content rolling up at SHIPITNation.com. Check that out. See who Nades is on. See who Hoop Slate playing. G Rising, Hamwich. They have been on fire. Projections, ownership up. As always, you play cash games. We got you covered there. Like button, subscribe button on the way out. Helps us out a ton, as always. Hope everybody out there has a great night. Contender Series, any of my MMA fans out there, probably very few, but if you are watching, little Contender Series in a couple hours. Baseball, fights, have a drink, enjoy your night. For Nadesify, I'm Title Town. Let's see some Shipping Nation logos up top. Good luck, everybody.